I just thought of another possible book entitled "It Doesn't Matter What I Say," because it really doesn't matter what I say. If people don't get it, they're not going to get it just through the words they see or the words through reading. When I say words they see or see on a video or hear, whatever they hear, see, you're not going to taste a word unless you eat a cake shaped in an A or something like that, or some alphabet soup. But no, I mean, it's just, unless you really understand it, you're not going to understand it. I mean, like, when I say really understand it, that's the only word I don't care about if I'm using the right words all the time anymore, because I'm getting my point across, and that's all that really matters, that I'm getting my point across. God just wants somebody who's not going to be afraid to get his point across. You know, when I start acting like a fool to be Dan Alexander to get people's attention, that's me acting like Dan Alexander to be a fool to get people's attention. But the God that's coming out of me is coming out of me. And if you don't see it and you don't like it and you don't love it, then that's fine. But I am a divine being, and so are you. And I'm just displaying that I am. And I don't deserve love any more than anybody else. My mom and dad deserve just as much love. My kids deserve just as much love. My neighbor down the road deserves just as much love. But I know that in a human sense, when I go over to his house, if I went over to Ted's house and I said, hey, I haven't seen you in years, man. I'm you and you're me and I love you and I can explain it to you. He's going to be like, get the fuck out of here, you know? And I know that you hear me talking like this. If I say a swear word, you're going to think that that's not godlike. Yeah, it is godlike. Every single thing of expression, every single life form, every single existence or experience or thought is God in any form, no matter what it is. No matter if it's imaginary or if it's fake or if it's something you just made up, because all those things are the same thing. They're all just a form of God. What's imaginary in the causal plane and the astral plane is God's imagination. Like the constellations and the Capricorns and all that stuff isn't really his imagination. Like his thoughts came true in physical form. His imagination came through in astral form. So some people are able to tap into it because they're seeing another form of their true selves. Some people can see it some people can just understand astrology. Like, I don't understand astrology as a person, but I understand it as God coming through me. Like, that just explains it. Some people don't understand astrology because it's a different form of our being. Our human form is a form of God's thoughts, like trees and ground and dirt and water. But like, the astrology is a form of God's imagination. Like, the difference between thought and imagination is that one is like more of a creative thought, and one is more of an aggressive, what we would consider realistic thought, like realistically aggressive, like taking form. The other one's just taking shape, but doesn't actually take matter into its shape. Like, one is taking shape and form as its matter, and some are taking shape and form without matter. And it's like, astrology is a world in the stars made of things that we don't understand. I can't say that it's shape of non-matter because it's matter, but at the same time, because, you know, the stars and the constellations and all that stuff, I don't understand it all, and I actually want to read about it so I can learn it, so I can actually tell you what it really all means. But I don't want to do that to make the people that have learned it and studied it be wrong. But then they should study what I'm talking about, and they'll learn that they're wrong, and they'll understand the right thing. I mean, I think that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to know what's right, don't they? And don't they want to know what's right from the time that you can understand understanding? I think my 7-year-old son, all the way up to the person who's just about to die, want to know what I'm talking about, want to understand ultimate cosmic understanding. You want to get the total reality of it, don't you? I mean, I'm telling you I know it. I'm telling you I can teach it to you. I'm telling you I can even train you how to use your mind, because I've already seen myself doing it. I can picture myself right now picking up a building with my mind and crushing it. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. I don't want to. I will not do that. That's why God chose me to do this. And God is also choosing me to use my human right of power and my free will to whether or not choose I'm going to pass it on to other people. And the people that I talk to that are going to see how, you know, how animated and how truthful I'm being, and how I'm really convicted to this idea, man. I'm scared that if I do the wrong things will happen. And when you get me in the right mood and you actually see that I'm talking from my heart and you know that I mean what I'm saying, whether I'm disillusioned or whether I'm being serious, do you believe either one? It doesn't matter. God is talking through me in one form or another. Whether you take Dan Alexander as being disillusioned or not, he's not. If you tell him that he has to go back to acting normal, guess what? I can act normal again and I can shut off God. But why would I want to do that? When I can get all the answers and teach you all the answers, why would you do that? I could shut this off. How weird is that? Now that I know my mind power, I could shut it off and do it all secretly because I want to know. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not selfish. The people that have discovered this, the government and the Congress and the people, I mean, this sounds stupid to bring out these names to talk about these people that I don't know like I'm all this big shit, because I'm not this big shit. I love them too. It's one of those things where I just need people to know the truth. Even the congressmen who think they're super shit right now, I hope they're listening to this me talk. Even the congressmen who think they're super shit with their money and their cars and their whatever and their big bills and their vetoes and their laws and their whatever there is, whatever Dan Alexander can say through his mind, it doesn't fucking matter at all. And I'm sorry I'm swearing, but I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. These people need to stop letting people die. They're all part of us. They're all part of you too. And yeah, you don't get it, so you just be like, yeah, they're all part of me. Yeah, sure. I'm not religious. Well, guess what? You don't have to be religious. You're spiritual. You're spiritual. We are our spirit. We are all one thing. Like you take a tub of water. Say we're one big tub of water. You take a teaspoon out of the tub and you put it in the toilet. Now it becomes toilet water. And then you add more until the toilet's full, and you flush the toilet, and it goes down the toilet out into the drain. Guess what? That stuff that went down the drain ends up out in the ditch, and then gets on somebody's shoe and gets into their sock, and they wring their sock out when they get to school, and there's a little drop of water on the floor. Well, guess what? That little drop of water on the floor is fucking tub water. Just like every person who's taken shape is a human being, but every person who's taken shape with a spirit is fucking God, man. If you guys don't understand this, this is coming out of me in ways that I never thought I could say it. And it's just today. What happens tomorrow? Well, in our human sense, what happens tomorrow? What happens? What happens when I tell people more? Are you going to really follow me? Are you really going to love me and not let me get harmed? Because I'm actually a little scared of getting harmed if people don't believe me. And I'm actually being scared of being harmed if people do believe me, because the people that don't want to believe me and can't find it in themselves to believe me because they're too sour, and then they realize that their personality is too negative that they can't whatever, and they hate me because they're so negative they can't forgive, or they can't forget, or they can't become whatever. They can't lose PTSD. They can't get rid of their paranormal syndromes. They can't get rid of their insomnia. They can't get rid of their panic attacks. That they're a victim. Because they can't do that, and I say that I'm God and they're God, and I understand it and I can explain it to them, and they don't want to take the power to go through it because they can't even handle them fucking selves. A person who's a drug addict can't even handle yourself. You can't even handle simple fucking choices. And I have to say this in this way because it has to make sense. If you can't handle brushing your own teeth and making sure your shit don't fall out, like my teeth were a generational thing of my human body. I took care of my shit really good, and anyone that knows me can and vouch for that. Anyway, I'm not going to go too far into that. But say like a crack addict or something like that. I'm not trying to make fun of any of them because I love them all. A heroin addict, I love them too. They killed themselves using heroin. Yeah, they were really smart. They didn't know what they wanted. They didn't know what they know. Whew. They didn't know what they know. Dude, I just had the weirdest thing. Like, I heard a sound outside of like a and I saw some things, and I can see stuff in the causal plane, and I'm hoping that I'm not even going to work on my power of moving stuff with my mind or my power of doing anything like that, because then I realized to go into super future and see what could happen is I could create beings. If I increased the power of my mind to the point where I know I could create living things. I could create a clone with my hand. I could just make something pop out of the air. And I'm not going to do that. I can see it in the future as a possibility. If I built Dan Alexander's mind power, I could do that with this human body. I could do that. I see that already. Right now. I've seen it. I've come back from it. And I've decided not to do it. Because Dan doesn't want it. I'm giving it back to him. As I was clearing my mouth or getting the foaminess out of my mouth, I was feeling God coming through me, and I allow it to happen. The frequency sort of just comes into me and changes me. I feel it different as a thought. I don't know if it sounds different on my phone, but I can tell when I'm channeling and when I'm talking. Either way. I don't know exactly what I started saying in this talk, but all I know is it was meant to be a couple-minute talk, and it is 9 minutes and 30-some seconds. I love you guys, and I mean the best. And I hope we can all take care of each other. We can stop killing. We can stop harming. We can stop swearing for negative reasons. We can say whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. Stop harming people. Stop having sex with people who don't want it. Have sex with as many people as you want, but don't force yourself on anybody. If you want to attract people that are looking for people that are attractive, I mean, do the best to make yourself look better. If you can't look any better, guess what? So you'll find someone that will have sex with you. Sex isn't everything. But, you know, it's that simple. I'm giving you all the simple answers. You can fast forward this and rewind this and listen to it slower and just take every little piece that I'm saying and analyze it. And these are the answers that you need, man. We all need to do this. We all need to take care of ourselves, eat right, bless our food, talk to our plants and animals and tell them we love them. You know, bless our wind and water and bless the elements. Be thankful for the fact that we have use of them as humans. Be thankful for them. Don't violate them. Don't use them wrongly. And one of the most important things we need to do, and I don't care, and don't go doing it through a abusive way. Don't go blowing it all up. I mean, the people who made it can blow it up. The people who made it can destroy it. But we can't keep doing artificial intelligence. Whoever's done artificial intelligence needs to stop. Needs to stop. Because that's one of the main ways that can kill us. Because during the next time period, I will teach us all how to stop thinking disease. Once you stop thinking disease, we will heal people. The woman that I love the most, Cindy, she'll walk again. If I can use my power for one thing and not prove myself, it will be for Cindy. Because people, even though I'm saying it right now, people say it's a miracle. Oh, it's a miracle. It didn't happen because he said it. He said it. Oh, what a coincidence. This is a miracle. If that's the one thing I have to hide the rest of my powers to do and have Cindy walk again, it'll be that. Because I love her that much. And she hasn't talked to me in 9 months and won't talk back to me and won't answer me or nothing like that. But I love her. I love her to death. In this human form, in this human sense, I love her. I mean, I unconditionally love everybody. I unconditionally love her. I unconditionally love everything about everyone. I would have sex with just about any person. But with Dan Alexander, unconditionally love Cindy. My body, my soul, Dan Alexander, and God, unconditionally love everything. Not just everyone, everything. Like, every pretend being, every real being, every fake being, every unhappy being, every red being, yellow being, purple being, you know, any race, any color, any existence. I love it all. I love it all. I'm accepting because you have to be. You know, I'll talk to you guys later. I need to take some sleep. I'm going to meditate. I came back. I got done with work at 12 o'clock. I said, oh, cool, I'll be back at like 12:30. It's 1:44. I've just been talking and talking and talking. My night off where I can sleep because I want to get up early tomorrow and do some work and get some work done. And then start writing on my books and watch a movie with my parents. But I keep recording. Tomorrow I'll do some more of this when I'm driving to Cambridge Springs. So, Dan, you have to stop. All right. Goodbye. Good night. I love you. God, I love you. And I'm not going to say I love you too because it's me saying it with you back and forth, and I can't tell because it feels like, it feels like God just said that as me, as Dan, making fun of me, and I lost my breath saying it. That was really weird. I was saying, like, I'm not going to say I love you too, Dan, as God, because I don't want you to think that I'm making shit up. And it's funny because God swears when he talks through me. And however you talk, when you talk as God, he'll talk that way through you. Or when you allow it, you and channel him, he'll talk that way through you. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's really what happens. If you go to a race car place and you sit in a race car and you drive it, it acts like a race car because it allows you to use it the way it's meant to be used. When any spirit, including God, comes to your body and uses your vehicle, it uses it the way it's meant to be used, the way that it's used to being used. So God comes through me the way I come through myself, the way I'm Dan Alexander. This makes sense, right, people? Well, this and a lot more will make more sense. I got to get off the recording because this phone's getting full again, and I got to get this stuff somewhere to somebody. But I'm not going to get it to the wrong hands because I want to make sure we all learn it so we can all be happy and the world can prosper. I love you. Good night.